Welcome, everybody, to the NFL's new league year. It is official. The brand new season has begun today at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is official. We've moved on beyond last year, and we are now into the new season. Starts today officially, and that's why we have seen moves go up across the league. Everything has that we've seen in the legal tampering period has become official. So what we're going to do is we have a special show today because we are doing a collab stream with my great friends at Fanatics View, and we are going to talk all things NFL. Now, you can see I'm a 49ers guy, but we are going to look across the league and see which teams got better, which teams got worse, some of the best moves, some of the worst moves, and we're going to look at it from a league perspective. But if you are joining me on the SFNiners channel, feel free to shoot my guys over at Fanatics View a sub. I just dropped the link in the chat. I'm excited to do this dual stream with my guys. Shout out Taylor over there at Fanatics View. But let's get into it. Now, because I am 49ers focused, we'll start with that team and then we'll move on beyond to a broader scope. But the big news that just came down for the San Francisco 49ers, specifically on top of every other team who is having all their moves hit, 49ers have officially released Eric Armstead with a post June 1st designation. So what does that mean? That means Eric Armstead can sign anywhere that he wants. But the 49ers will save approximately $18 million in cap space after June 1st. So it's a double-edged sword, right? So Eric can sign anywhere, but the 49ers won't see that cap relief until June 1st, and that goes for anyone in the NFL world who has released any player with a post June 1 designation. So that is where we currently stand. But there are a lot of moves going down in the NFL. And let's talk about some of the biggest ones, shall we? Some of the moves that have made teams better, some of the moves that have made teams worse. Let's take a look. This list probably is almost out of date because it was posted 3 hours ago. And as we've seen, things have been flying furiously, but we are going to use it for a great reference point of some of the biggest moves. And you can see at the top of the list, Kirk Cousins. As we know, this is a quarterback driven league. And Kirk Cousins, coming off a torn Achilles, signs a massive $45 million per year on average contract with the Atlanta Falcons, honestly kind of changing a big part of the landscape in the NFL, because obviously that impacts the Falcons hire, who got Raheem Morris, who came from the Rams. He's a defensive specialist. He's a defensive coordinator. He's a defensive minded coach, but he kind of comes from that Kyle Shanahan, obviously Sean McVay tree. And so not a surprise that they go out and get a guy that is coveted by those style of coaches. So Kirk Cousins finds himself in Atlanta. And then on top of that, it's the repercussion with Minnesota. Now, Minnesota needs to go out and get a quarterback. They sign 49ers quarterback Sam Darnold to a $10 million deal, just a 1 year. But it really does look like Sam Darnold is going to get a 1 year trial So obviously the Vikings will have an opportunity to make a move in the draft if that's what they so please to do. But now they have the flexibility to have uh, Sam Darnold and potentially go draft someone. But we also had a swap of star pass rushers um, in regards to the the Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. So Jonathan Grenard had a phenomenal year with Houston. He goes and signs with the Vikings, and then Danielle Hunter, who has, again, you see he's ranked number 2 on this list, has been phenomenal. He switches to the Texans. He got a big payday, 2 years, I believe in the range of about $48-49 million guaranteed. Danielle Hunter got the bag by the Texans. I would say based on the early moves that we've seen in free agency, D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans are building a juggernaut. I absolutely love every single thing that Nick Caserio, D'Amico Ryans, Bobby Slowick, some 49er alum, the coaches are making some phenomenal moves. You got the NFL's offensive and defensive rookie of the year, and you're bringing in some of the top talent in the league. The Houston Texans are doing some big things. So that is a team you cannot sleep on heading into next year. Great, exactly. Azeez Al-Shaair, 49er fans know him well with his time with the Niners, goes to Tennessee on I think a 1-year, $6 million deal, ends up breaking the franchise record for total tackles, and then is able to leverage that, I think, into like a 3-year, $34 million contract, reunites with D'Amico Ryans, the legend. So you love to see that. And we're having moves go off right now as we're talking about some of the moves in free agency. Mason Rudolph lands in Tennessee on a 1-year deal. So we have some quarterback movement, and that might be a perfect transition into Mason Rudolph leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to Tennessee, and the Pittsburgh Steelers signing Mr. Unlimited to a 1-year deal. What was it, like 1.2 million? Russell Wilson is going, by all accounts, especially with this Mason Rudolph move. Not that that was going to be a huge competition for Russ, but Russell Wilson goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Denver Broncos take on, I think it was a record-setting $85 million dead cap hit. Whoo! And then the Steelers are the one who reap the benefits of that. I even see in the chat someone saying Russell Wilson is not that guy. Hey, at 1.2 million for 1 year, I think Russell Wilson can be that guy. So I would say the Steelers came out looking great in that regard, and that has a huge situation of changing that division in the NFL because, Kenny Pickett didn't look like he was going to be the guy. And so you have that massive swing and you get a cheap quarterback like Russell Wilson, who again hasn't played like Russell Wilson of late the last couple years. But hey, maybe switching gears, teaming up with Mike Tomlin, Having a running game with Najee Harris and Warren. They're improving a little bit on the offensive line front. They did just trade Deontay Johnson, though, yesterday. Dude, the moves that are going on in the NFL, absolutely crazy. I freaking love it, though, because we are seeing a bunch of movement. It's absolutely phenomenal. You talk about peak interest in the NFL in the dead of the offseason. This is like, get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know who's going where, who's making what move. It makes for it's amazing. I love it. Um, you know, and we definitely love it more if we would consider our teams winners, right? You know what? It pains me to say, as a 49er fan, that I think the Eagles have made some big time moves. Landing Saquon Barkley. Talk about shifting momentum in a division where the NFC East with the Eagles, you get Saquon. I mean, even on this one, we haven't even gotten to the second, third, fourth, fifth sheet. You already got two Eagles moves on here. You got Saquon Barkley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson returns. Obviously, plenty of history between 49ers and the Eagles. But I would have to say the Eagles got better. Saquon Barkley, getting him from an in-division foe, whoo, that's spicy. I like it, though. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I don't personally like the player, the person, but hey, he fits. He fits into what they're trying to do over there in Philly, and he plays well for them. So I think that's a good move as well. Christian Wilkins signs a monster deal with the Raiders. Absolutely monster deal. Patriots low key have been doing work just by re-signing their own. I think that's been one of the more remarkable things. They bring back Michael Onwenu. I think they paid Michael Onwenu about like something $19 million per year on average, like that. The guard market absolutely exploded. And guys got paid. But I think one of the other things too with the Patriots is that they were able to bring back Josh Uche on like a 1-year, $3 million deal. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They also traded Mac Jones to the Jaguars for like a 6th round pick. It's crazy. Where's Justin Fields going? The quarterback movement been amazing to see. Jimmy Garoppolo cut today officially by Las Vegas Raiders. Third time's a charm. There we go. So there's been a lot of quarterback movement. It's been fun to track. But let's take a look at some of the other moves, some of the other teams that have improved. Again, Eagles getting Bryce Huff from the New York Jets. That's a pretty underrated move. Pretty underrated move, if you ask me. Derrick Henry doesn't re-sign with Tennessee. He goes to the Baltimore Ravens. Now you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Imagine trying to stop those zone read runs. Who are you going to commit to? Are you going to commit to Lamar? Are you going to commit to Derrick? Those defensive ends are going to be put in a blender. And all those different types of things. I see in the chat someone saying he's older and slower. You may have a point, but again, if they're running out of a zone read concept where a defensive end has to stop and read and have to commit to Lamar or commit to Henry, that's the beauty of having a running quarterback, is that you can put defenses in hell by having to account and play 11 on 11 versus 11 on 10. So I do think that actually is going to help. One of the crazier signings, one of the better signings, I thought, uh, was Josh Jacobs, the former Raiders running back, signing with the Green Bay Packers. And then right after he signs with the Green Bay Packers, the Packers release Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was a good running back, but Josh Jacobs, and you can see the other move at the top of the list that the Green Bay Packers made. They go out and get Xavier McKinney from the New York Giants. So there's some big time moves. And speaking of the New York Giants, when you think that they're letting all their talent walk out the door, Saquon Barkley goes to the Eagles, Xavier McKinney goes to Green Bay. The New York Football Giants make arguably the biggest splash in free agency. They go out and they trade for Brian Burns. And what did they give up? Like what, pick 39 and like a fifth, a second and a fifth for Brian Burns. Now they had to pay Brian Burns, second highest paid defensive end, $30 million per year on average. He got paid, but that's a splash. The compensation given up, unbelievable. Panthers, mind-boggling how the Panthers were managed this offseason. They weren't able to retain Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin. They got rid of everyone. And then they gave $100 million to a guard in Robert Hunt. So, and again, Deontay Johnson got traded to the Panthers as well. So this league is wild. Absolutely wild. With all the moves, all the changes that are occurring and happening. Just wild. Unbelievable. So there are moves to be made. A lot of teams got better. I would say the Panthers got worse. I don't think the Panthers got better. I think Green Bay got better. I think the Eagles got better. I actually think the Pittsburgh Steelers got better. Gabe Davis to the Jags. Trent Baalke doing Trent Baalke things, overpaying a little bit. Not a surprise there. But I think an underrated team who is low-key cooking was the Washington Commanders. Got a new general manager, Adam Peters. Of course, we know Adam Peters very well as the 49ers' former assistant general manager. But getting a guy like Frankie Louvu, such an underrated player. I think he's one of the better linebackers in this league. He doesn't get a lot of publicity because he does play for Carolina, but he's a stud. And, Adam Peters went out and got a couple good players, I thought. Dorrance Armstrong, underrated player coming from Dallas off the edge. Maybe not a ton of people know him as a household name, but this guy's pretty good. And you ask anyone who follows Dallas, not happy about that move. You go and get Jeremy Chin, super underrated safety. The fact that he's even at 74 is kind of crazy to me. Austin Eckler at running back. Adam Peters low-key cooking out here. And to be honest, not really surprised by that. So it's going to be fascinating to see. Again, teams like Washington, what do they do at quarterback? Is it going to be Caleb? Is Caleb going to the Bears? Is Washington going to get Drake May? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. But I think Washington is a team that is in a complete rebuild from literally ownership down. And I think they're off to a good start. Um, Speaking of Dallas Cowboys, I'm flipping through this list. Have the is Jerry Jones awake? What's Jerry doing over there? I don't see any moves by the Dallas Cowboys. I think they've made one signing, and I think it was a long snapper. I think that's I think that's what they I think that's all they signed. They've lost quite a bit. Sounds like Tyron Smith isn't returning. They lost their running back. Where was it? Tony Pollard went to, I just saw it. Where'd he go? Tony Pollard goes over to Tennessee to replace the King. So Henry's gone, Pollard in. Dallas got a long snapper though. So, obviously natural rivalry, 49ers, Dallas Cowboys. So of course we're always going to relish in these moments. But no moves really for Dallas. So I think in that instance, if we're being objective, taking 49ers rivalry bias out of it, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys got any better in free agency. I definitely think that's a team who got worse because they lost a lot of talent and they haven't recouped anything. So I think if we want to talk about teams that got worse, I think you got to start with the Dallas Cowboys. You can even see you got available corners like Stephon Gilmore available. Doesn't sound like he's returning. A lot of holes to fill. But it is going to be fascinating to see what the Cowboys do with Dak Prescott. So that will be interesting. That will be interesting to see what the Dallas Cowboys are looking like when it's all said and done. What other teams would we say got worse? I would say the Minnesota Vikings got worse. I would say they did again, they were able to get one of the, top edge rushers, but they lost one of the top edge rushers and who would consider I think many would consider Danielle Hunter a better edge rusher than Grenard, even though Grenard is younger. So I don't mind the move. I would say it's probably closer to a wash than anything else. But again, you lose your quarterback. You lose Kirk Cousins and you replace Kirk Cousins with Sam Darnold, who's by all standards considered a bust up until this point. I do think there is some potential that, hey, Sam Darnold could pull it together at one point. Will it be now? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I would say the Vikings, got worse. I don't think in regards to what they lost to what they gained, I would say they got a little bit of worse. I think they got worse. Let's see who else. DeAndre Swift to the Bears. Not bad. I don't think that's too bad. Who else we got? I think we're the Chargers. Yeah, Chargers got worse. They had to release. Oh, here we go. We got a big move. Breaking news on the stream. Oh, dang. Okay. So, according to Ian Rappaport, the Titans are signing Jaguars star wide receiver Calvin Ridley. The 29-year-old Ridley gets a 4-year, $92 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. Chat, I'm going to need an instant reaction to that deal because although Ridley, I think, is a quality receiver, that's a lot of money to pay for a 29-year-old. And this is a great point, Justin. While the San Francisco 49ers are over here waiting to extend Brandon Ayuk, Rand Carthon, former executive for the 49ers, who is now running the Titans front office, just threw the bag at Calvin Ridley at 29 years old. Now, I get it. I think, we are 49ers based, so we have some bias. If there's any non 49er fans in here, please speak up. We want to hear from you. But Brandon Ayuk is objectively a better wide receiver than Calvin Ridley at this current stage in the game. I think we can all agree with that. Now, Calvin Ridley has shown a ton of signs. I mean, he was a former number 2 behind Julio Jones at one point. But 4 years, 92 million, 50 guaranteed. Woo! Hold your horses. That's a lot of quiche for a 29-year-old wide receiver. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk absolutely licking his chops. Absolutely licking his chops at that news. That's some big news right there. Live on the show. Love to see it. All right, we got about 200 people in the chat. From at least everyone I've seen commenting, looks like you're from my channel. So good to see y'all. We are doing a dual stream though. And we are doing a dual stream with my guys at Fanatics View. They cover college, they cover NFL, they cover pretty much any sport. So do me a favor, drop in the link in the chat. Go sub to the squad over at Fanatics View. That's why this is a NFL based stream. And so collabing with our guys at Fanatics View. I mean, big channel, man. I think 64K subs, does a ton of phenomenal original content, interviews, shooting on field at games. Shoot them a sub. Do me a favor, shoot them a sub. I would appreciate that greatly. But man, all right, we got some free agent news. So this is kind of nice. This is kind of nice too. There we go. There we go. Shoot them a sub. So this is nice because I know for a fact a lot of you are 49er fans, but we're all fans of the NFL. And so what we're doing right now is we're kind of removing that 49er veil, and we're talking NFL. We're talking NFL, and the NFL is going crazy right now. If you're just joining, Calvin Ridley signs a monster deal with the Tennessee Titans. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's a big move. That is a big move. So did the Tennessee Titans get better? Will Levis? Question to the chat. Are you paying that type of money to wide receiver 1 to pair with Will Levis? Or is there another trick up the Titans' sleeve? Is that for Willie? The mayo eating man? I don't know. Interesting. Interesting to think about because that's a lot of money. That's one of the bigger signings of all free agency right there that just dropped. That's crazy. All right, what other teams need some love or need to get better? Oh yeah, Jacoby Brissett to the Patriots. A reunion there. They also gave an extension to Kendrick Bourne. This one's interesting. The Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks. Oh, this is double interesting. The Seattle Seahawks just made two moves. One that also impacts the San Francisco 49ers. As we heard, one of the first things that we heard in free agency was Rashawn Jenkins was going to visit with the San Francisco 49ers after he had visited with the Seahawks. Well, Rashawn Jenkins just signed with the Seahawks. So Seahawks get a veteran safety, and then the Seahawks signed veteran offensive tackle George Fant. So two moves by the Seattle Seahawks back to back. And again, one of them was a guy that the 49ers were looking at. So the North wins. The North wins, apparently, in the battle for Rashawn Jenkins. So hey, Seattle just made two moves as we speak. All right, let's see what other good stuff we got in this top 100 list that we got cooking. Jameis Winston to the Browns. Watch out. Watch out, Deshaun. Foley Fatukasai. That's an underrated move. So again, Rashawn Jenkins rated as the number 94 prospect on this list, just signed. Tre'Davious White is still out there. You got guys like Josh Jones, Micah Hyde. So if we're talking 49ers, considering the fact that a veteran safety that the 49ers were interested in, and I do think the 49ers will continue to be interested in safety. Micah Hyde is a guy that I would love to come over as a veteran presence in that room. I think he's 33, 34. So he's definitely older, but Micah Hyde just feels like you want a veteran presence in your safety room. That seems like a quality guy to have. Odell Beckham Jr. is out there. I don't know who's signing Odell. Still crazy that Odell got $15 million for 1 year last year from the Ravens. Trent Brown is still there, former 49er, most recently with the Patriots. Bobby Wagner's out there. Jordan Fuller, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback is still available. Adoree Jackson at cornerback. DJ Reader, I think he might be on the verge of signing, but he's been having some visits, so that's one to keep an eye on. Calais Campbell, intriguing veteran. Bradley Boozman, offensive line. Let's see what other ones. Devin White, linebacker, still out there. The Tampa Bay made some moves. They brought back the gang. They extended Mike Evans, and they also re-signed Baker Mayfield, which I actually think is the right move. I think that was the right move for sure for Tampa Bay. So I think Tampa Bay low-key cooking. They brought back Levante David as well. Tampa Bay was more just bringing the gang back together, which I think was the right move. So I'm all right with that. I'm definitely all right with what the Bucks are doing. 49ers obviously have invested heavily in the defense. Two defensive ends, as you can see, Leonard Floyd comes in as a pass rusher. Uh, and they were able to get Yetur Gross Matos. They just made a trade this morning to go get Malik Collins. And they signed Eric Kendricks this morning as well. So 49ers not doing anything crazy, but they're filling holes from a cost effective standpoint. I would say, obviously, you lose Eric Armstead. That's a big hit. What they've done, they lost Cleveland Farrell. They lost Eric Armstead. They've lost a couple other players. I would say the 49ers are about even. I wouldn't say they got worse. I wouldn't say they got better. I would say they're about even because they still are top. They still have so much top end talent. I would say they're about even. So that's the way that I'm looking at currently the 49ers. But all it would take is one move for the 49ers to tip that scale in their favor, I say. But we'll see what ultimately happens. Guys like Connor Williams is still out there. I think he's a quality starting offensive line. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Nelson and Fulton, interesting. J.K. Dobbins has a ton of talent, but just has been so many injuries. You look at Darnell Mooney teaming up with Kirk Cousins. I think you got to say that Atlanta got better. They got better at quarterback, all things considered. The Los Angeles Rams spent big time cash money on some guards. They cashed out Dotson. They also signed Jonah Jackson from Detroit. He's a good offensive lineman as well. The Rams invested in their offensive line, particularly at the guard spot, which is interesting because typically the guards aren't the ones who get the bag, but the Rams gave two guards the bag. So we'll see how that ultimately plays out. Tennessee Titans also got Chidobe Awuzie. That's actually quality signing at cornerback. So you can see there's guys still out there. Cameron Curl, I think, is a quality young safety. If anyone wants to go that route, Jonah Williams at offensive line, he's been shaky with Cincinnati. But if you need offensive line, that could be a spot. Of course, Chase Young is meeting with multiple teams and does not appear he'll be returning to the 49ers. You got Justin Simmons out there at safety. I mean, Justin Simmons got to be definitely the best remaining safety on the market. And as we talked about, Calvin Ridley just signed that big deal. So as we go through NFL free agent frenzy, things are starting to pick up. Pretty fun period, right? Pretty fun period of the year. And excited to see what other moves go down. Clearly things are heating up. Very curious to see where some of these cap casualties go and some other things that go down here. But the league is changing. The league is changing. And if you want more league coverage, I would say, again, check out my guys. We're doing the dual stream right now at Fanatics View. Drop the link in the chat. Go over there, smash the sub button, like the live, show them some love. Those are my guys over there. So Might be doing a little bit more NFL coverage, might be doing some more joint streams. If you like the vibe where we can kind of just talk more broadly about the NFL than just the 49ers. Obviously, 49ers coverage ain't changing. But if we want to develop a show where we talk more broadly about news in the NFL, what's going on across the league, that might be something to keep an eye out for. But again, tap in with my guys at Fanatics View. Great coverage over there. Again, multiple sports, multiple leagues, um, great credentialed coverage. Phenomenal stuff over there. And they're growing too. So I would say free agency. Let's do it like this. How would you guys grade the NFL free agency as a whole? When in terms of action, in terms of moves, in terms of surprises, in terms of all of it. How would you grade the NFL's legal tampering period and now the official start of free agency? I want to see the vibes of the chat, what we're feeling like, and how we. The first one out the gate is a D. Is a D. Well, Harris says, to be honest, a lot of moves for sure. Travis says A plus. A because the Cowboys didn't do anything. A, Eagles, Packers, and Lions got better. We got some competition. Absolutely. Eagles, Packers, and Lions got better. NFC got a little bit better, I would say. For sure. JM says A. Texans have you hyped. They will knock out Chiefs so 49ers can win the Super Bowl. Hey man, I'm a huge D'Amico Ryans fan. Of course, if you're a 49er fan, you're probably a D'Amico Ryan fan too, because he's been nothing but great with the 49ers, developing talent in that linebacker room. And now what they're doing over there, D'Amico's straight up cooking for sure. Let's see. Niner Goat says A. Niner got better at D line and linebacker O line in the draft. JM says 49er get a fat ass F. Oh, we got a D. Free agency is overhyped. Winning in free agency rarely results in winning in the regular season. Maybe. I think you have a point, but I also think free agency now is a lot different than it used to be. I think player movement is so normal that I don't think it's that big of a deal anymore. And I think teams can actually get better through free agency. So I'm less of the overhyped on free agent moves. I actually think these moves are valid, and I think teams are getting a lot better, or some teams are getting worse. We got a couple A's coming in, grading NFL free agency as a whole. I like it. All right, so that's going to be it for our first kind of broad NFL dual stream between the SFNiners and Fanatics View. I liked it. I like talking league. A lot of moves going down, baby. A lot of moves going down. So make sure you do me a favor, like both videos, sub to both channels, Appreciate you guys. I might be coming back with more 49ers content, though. Definitely more content is coming, but we might be coming back with another live. Stay tuned. Appreciate all you guys per usual. And as always, I'm out of here for now. Make sure you smash that like button. We out. Peace.